Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode number 377. Larry here.
Anthony here.
And what is going on, sir?
What isn't going on these days? I tell you, everything's going on, and then nothing at the same time.
Sounds like it. Sounds like you're going to be up to your elbows.
As a manner of speaking, yeah. Sure.
So,
So,
but
my
no,
weekend just got busy.
there we go. Good. I got a very busy weekend as well. And happy belated Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Yes, happy belated Father's Day.
Yes.
There's a happy belated Flag Day. I think my name day just passed. What else do we
Did
have
it?
to
Name day. Do I have a name day? Does Lawrence have a name day? I don't know. I mean, there is a St. Lawrence.
Yeah, I think every saint has a name day. So if you pay attention to that stuff.
St. Conan.
I used to use it as an excuse to like get Italian pastries, but I don't do that anymore.
Where did you do that? What, like Michael's?
Yeah, it's like it's my
Did you
name
really?
day. It's my name day. I need a pastry.
Michael's was a pastry place back in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Well, I still buy my mom a pastry on her name day because
Aw.
that's it's been her annual tradition since she was a little girl.
Awesome.
She gets a every year for her name day, she would get a sfogliatelle, which if you're
Please no
Italian, you'll
cursing on
understand
this.
what that
Okay.
is. No, that's a different word.
Very good.
Uh,
Flag Day is the anniversary of my parents getting engaged.
That's right. Your mom
If you,
always posts every flag
oh
day.
my God, if you know my parents, that makes sense. And then as whimsical as that was, and as quickly as they got married that November, the same calendar year, you would have thought I was born in the 70s. But no, they waited.
No, they wanted to make sure you were an 80s baby.
But yeah, well, they got it once and they got it right. So
There you go. That's all that matters.
all right. Oh, another thing I want to.
And then after that, they were like, "Hell no, we're not doing this again."
Yeah, no, they saw it. Yeah, they were like, wait a minute, this isn't going to work. One more thing I want to point out, and this again is very for me, but I'm going to say it anyway. Ant, I don't know if you notice, for the first time, and I don't really often wear gaming shirts on the show,
Yes.
mostly because I don't fit in them.
Ah,
Because when I bought them, it was a world long ago. But Ant, you picked this up for me. It's a Super Nintendo World shirt
yes. I wore
from
that yesterday for work.
from Hollywood. Did you? Nice.
Yes, it did.
From
It's my
Hollywood.
it's like my Friday shirt.
Awesome. But I want to say this, when you got this for me last year, I was no way I was fitting in it. And today, this 2X is actually comfortable on me.
Hey,
So
congratulations, man.
this is the first time I've worn it. And I'm pretty sure, thank you. I'm pretty sure I washed it. So I'm sure it already did its shrinking or whatever it might do.
And it still fits comfortably, which
It
is
still
great.
fits very good. So
Excellent news.
very happy on that. So
Very good. Good.
wonderful.
Your journey continues.
Yes, and tonight I'm going to my friend's house where you do our monthly, me and a bunch of us get together, watch a movie. Used to be bad movies, but we're starting to get better movies. But then we order all this pizza and wings and everything. So
So
that's all
you're
right.
you're going to celebrate by popping out of the shirt.
I have to live. I have to live. And tomorrow I'm having ice cream cake. So
Ooh,
Father's Day.
very nice.
He's like, if you don't come into Brooklyn without a ice cream cake, don't even bother coming in. I
Yeah,
was
that
like,
makes
okay.
sense. Earlier I was jonesing. I think it was yesterday. I was jonesing for a piece of Carvel ice cream cake. It literally just came out of the blue. I know you have like the best one down the block.
The single
Yes,
best Carvel, period. Yes.
I know. But it was just out of nowhere. I was like, yeah, I want those crunchies.
You could buy those on its own.
I know, and I don't want to because if I do it once, it's all over. It's what I call the fortune cookie mishap. Um, when I found out that Amazon, because Amazon sells everything,
Of course.
when I found out that Amazon sells fortune cookies, you can buy 100 in a box for like $15. That
Fortunes
sent
in
me,
them?
yeah, fortunes.
Okay.
It sent me down a very dangerous path for a few months.
When they brought back the lime Skittle,
Yeah.
and I saw online you can buy like a 2 pound bag of just lime Skittle.
Mhm.
Oh, did that
Yeah.
almost happen? That
Yeah.
came very, very because they did sell an all lime bag, like a
Mhm.
normal bag of Skittles, all lime because I hopefully they fired whoever turned lime to green apple for the last 10 years.
I
But
like green apple,
green apple
but I
is
don't.
the
But
worst
I don't
candy
need.
flavor.
I don't need Skittles. No, I always thought everybody agreed that banana runts were the worst flavor, which I always found out because I like them.
Banana, but that's for a run. That's specific banana for
Okay.
runts.
Why are we talking about this?
And because this is life. And I'm sure there's a lot of gamers out there who eat a lot of candy.
A lot of candy. Yeah.
And shockingly enough, I don't have sweet tooth, but Skittles, game on.
Ugh,
Yeah, green apple,
I got a bad
worst
sweet tooth.
flavor of all time. Any
All
candy.
right. Well, I will disagree with that statement. I don't know what my worst flavor is, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of fruit punch. Let me
What is
rephrase.
even flavored fruit punch?
Like a fruit punch flavored candy. I always,
Okay.
you know, it's funny. I always consider red more like a fruit punch, and I know a lot of times it's cherry, and I hate cherry. So
What is wrong with you, man? Cherry's like the best flavor
cherry's the
next to
worst.
grape. Oh my
Cherry's the
God.
worst. Cherry is the worst.
Why do we even do the podcast?
If it's black cherry,
Oh, that
fine.
what?
Black cherry is its own
Oh,
thing.
oh, this is not working out whatsoever. You know what? I agree with you.
That was my favorite soda growing up. Black cherry soda that I would go to I would go to Thrifty because they were the only ones who had it. And I don't remember if it was like, was it like RC Cola or something? It was like some other brand or
It had
Schweppes
to
or
be.
yeah, it was not like a Coca-Cola brand.
No.
Like it was but
Oh, you know what it is? No, it is because the deli like the kosher delis still sell them. Oh, what's the name of the brand? Oh, I'm not gonna remember
yeah,
it.
I
But
can't
yeah.
remember it either.
First, the only thing I got in finally because limited run always takes a year to ship.
Yes.
But I finally got what originally I thought was a very funny April Fool's joke, but ended up being a legit purchase. Night Trap on the Game Boy Advance.
Very nice.
And there it is, right there.
Did they send you your PS4 copy?
No, I was trying to. Oh no, it was a PS4 copy. I was trying to order.
Yeah, it was
No,
a PS4
screw
copy
them.
you were trying to
Gosh, darn it.
What do you mean screw them? You still order from them.
But well, after they learned what they did to me and they fixed how they do things, but this is kind of redeeming. This redeemed it.
Nice.
But what's cool about it is, folks who don't know it, it's not the game itself. It's just the video of the game.
Right. So you bought a movie.
It's not the first time I bought a movie on Game Boy Advance.
No. I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you essentially bought a movie. It's not a game.
Yep.
You bought the movie Night Trap, which, by the way, I've never watched all the way through.
Neither have I, and I can't wait to watch it on my Oh, it's charging on my SpongeBob Game Boy Advance. Yeah, I got to watch it there first before I use my analog.
All right, that's fair.
So, but nevertheless, that's pretty much gaming wise. That's really. Oh no, that's a lie. The other thing I got, I picked up, which again finally shipped. This was on Indiegogo. I ordered it. I canceled it. I ordered it. I canceled it again.
Oh,
and then I ordered it, and then I forgot to cancel it. But it's called the VM2 Dreamcast
nice.
memory card. dreammods.net. And it's on Indiegogo. And this is a brand new VM2, as they call it. If I can get it started up there.
Does it work?
Uh-oh.
See, battery's already dead.
It better not. It charges through the USB-C.
Nope, battery's dead. Moving on.
Oh, there it goes. That's weird. But it's very bright. I mean, look how bright that is.
That is bright.
So
I still have my OG one, which I'm sure doesn't work.
Oh, I got that too. That one's right here.
Oh, there you go. Does that work?
It does work, but obviously, I want to get the new one. It's USB-C charging, but also what's cool about it is it takes a memory card. It takes a micro SD.
Okay.
So you can load it up and everything. And plus it's just fresh. It's new. I like that.
All right.
So
very cool.
My good friends over in Greece finally shipped it.
Hey,
they haven't learned that everything.
What it is. Opa.
Opa.
I give up.
Spanakopita? What else did I know? I knew some other words that I was called, but I don't think I can repeat them.
No, I don't think you should. That might be troublesome.
And otherwise, beyond that, like you said, you really didn't pick anything up this week, right? No new purchases for you?
Let me think for 1 second. No, there was no shopping done this week. I thought I might have bought something on the PS5, but I think I just added it to my wish. Oh no, I bought but I think I bought this last week. I don't know if I brought it up. I may have brought it up already, but I bought the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game.
You did not, but how is it?
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. Yeah, so it's what I like. What's really cool about it is it's got like that. It's from the same creators who made the Friday the 13th game, which they officially retired at the end of 2023 because of all that licensing craziness. So they couldn't really do anything with it. So now they release Killer Clowns, and it's a lot of fun. I feel like they took the base of Friday the 13th and just like, changed it and
Okay.
upgraded it basically. And I have to say, it's kind of like a love letter to the movie because they have like every little detail in it, which is really
Oh,
fun.
movie's fantastic.
And on top of it, for a multiplayer game, it's really cool because you play with 10 people.
Really?
Yeah, it's huge.
I didn't realize it was
So
that big.
yeah, you have 7 humans and you have 3 clowns.
Okay.
So that way it's a group of clowns going after the humans. And they do like all the standard stuff where like they shoot you with the ray gun, and if they shoot you long enough, you turn into a cotton candy ball, and then they hook you on the machine.
The cocoon.
And
They throw popcorn at you.
I haven't seen the popcorn
Oh,
yet, but
okay.
they have the little balloon dog that will sniff you
Yes.
out and track you
Yes.
down. That's really fun. And then if you're a human, you're trying to escape the map you're on, and there are different
Mhm.
ways to do it. But you can also kill the clowns the way that they do in the movie by, like you beat them up a little bit to stun them, and then you have to hit them in the nose
Yep.
to make the nose pop, and then they die. But then they come back. Like you come back after like a
Yeah.
minute or
The
something
old
like that.
respawn.
Yeah. And then they have the at the very end, like it's a limited it's like a 20-minute game.
Oh,
So
wow.
you have 20 minutes. It's what Friday the 13th was. You have 20
Oh,
minutes to
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
basically as a human either escape or as the clowns kill everybody.
Hmm. As
But
they
then
do.
at the end of the game, like the last minute or something, I want to get it right. Was it the Farrelly brothers in the ice cream truck? Do you
Oh,
remember the ice cream
yes,
truck?
yes, yes, yes.
They will break through like the gate on the bridge so you can
Oh,
escape in the last like 30 seconds
that's awesome.
before the clown apocalypse happens.
Which a lot of people, I'm sure, are waiting for.
Yes, which basically just destroys the entire board you're on. But a lot of fun. I've played it with a few friends now,
Okay.
and it's a great party game. Like if we had like a whole group, like 10 people playing it, it would just be laughter the whole time. It's
Sounds good.
a lot of fun.
I'll definitely check it out.
Very fun
And
game.
actually, while you were talking, I did pull up some, I did purchase I purchased some newer games with the on the Xbox. I haven't purchased on Xbox in a while. But what I did
Mhm.
pull the trigger on, because it was only $3, was the remaster of 13. I don't know if you remember
Oh, nice.
13 on the
Yes,
original Xbox. Yeah.
I do remember 13.
Almost plays out and looks like a comic book.
It does. And you
Yep.
know what? I'm gonna check my collection right now because I might have
I
13.
had 13.
I
Uh,
never played it, but I think it's one of those games where I always feel like some games just wind up in my collection and I don't know how they got there. That was no, I do not have it. So,
So yeah, it
uh,
dropped. It was dirt cheap on Xbox, so I figured I'd
all
pick that up.
right, that's a good. I think that's a good pickup.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So very
all
cool.
right, good stuff. And then we're gonna get right into it. Because I want to talk because I had so much fun playing it, but I also kind of came across. I'll explain right now. We're gonna get into game of the week right
Yes.
now, and it was my pick this week, and it was a game that just dropped on the Nintendo Switch, Game Boy library, Mega Man 5.
Yep.
In fact, all 5 Mega Man Game Boy games dropped.
Yes.
And this particular version, Mega Man 5, amazing version. I after I because I have played it, but it's funny when I was thinking about it, I thought I originally owned it, but the more I thought about it, the more I think I didn't own it. But I certainly
Mhm.
read a lot into it. I was watching videos about it. I definitely picked it up on the 3DS on the virtual console.
Okay.
And I'm starting to think that might have been the first time I played it. I don't know why I felt like I played it before. It's very what do they call that? The like a Mandela effect.
Yes.
I thought I had it, thought I played it. But apparently I didn't. But then when it dropped on the Switch, it became much more readily available. So game of the week. Before I get into, talking about the game itself, I want to give you a little bit, kind of pull the curtain back here. We always,
Hmm.
me and Ant, when we pick our games, we do our recordings for our game of the week premiere every Thursday on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
And when we can, we try and be in the chat when we do it.
Yeah.
So,
We've made the chat, I think, every time so
oh
far.
no, we have, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's been
So
fun.
we've
It's
been
been
pretty
very,
good. Yeah.
so, so I was getting ready to record my gameplay of Mega Man 5. Now I've been playing Mega Man 5 all week, so because this was my excuse to really get at it.
Okay.
But then it dawned on me, I totally forgot. It's a Super Game Boy game.
Mm.
So it's it has color graphics and has special borders if you play on Super Game Boy. So it's like, oh, it'd be great if I can, get my hands on a copy of Mega Man 5 and record it for the game premiere as
On the
Super
Super
Game
Game
Boy.
Boy. Hmm.
Correct. Because for some reason, and I hope they fix this down the road, maybe with the new Switch, but the few Super Game Boy compatible games on the Switch Online, you can't play as Super Game Boy. Like that's just not an
Oh,
option.
well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, which is terrible because a lot of games pop with that Super
Hmm.
Game Boy look to it. So in any event, so I'm like, all right, let me see. And I totally forgot. Mega Man 5 is expensive.
Mm.
Um, Forget about the $3,500 and $2,700 copies in box of Mega Man 5 North American. Cart Loose is going for like 250.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
One
That's
of
a healthy
which
price.
one of which I'm going to show here. And again, and I'm just gonna actually send you this link in the
Okay.
chat because I want you to see the condition of this game.
Uh-oh.
On eBay, selling for $225.
All
I
right, hit
will
me with it.
I will not reveal who's selling this version,
Can I?
but
Oh my. What
I
is wrong with
mean
this person?
the chunk that is missing on the bottom of this cartridge.
That is absurd. Well,
The
it looks like somebody stepped on it.
the wicked wear and tear. You're right, and it does look like someone.
Looks like somebody stepped on it.
Yeah, and then if you scroll down even more, the board
Hmm.
itself. I mean, the board looks all right. The connectors, look, connectors are
It
gonna
doesn't, it
do
doesn't,
fine.
it does not look healthy.
But then he does have it in a game, in a actually in an analog pocket, showing that it does still play.
Yep.
But this $225,
No.
maybe not so. Maybe like $100 for this one. Maybe even
Yeah.
maybe that.
Or, you can
Yeah.
get it looks like you can get the Japanese one for 30.
Well, thank you for putting the cart before the horse, because yes,
And I did. I looked at the
you
cart.
did, and that's what I was setting up for. So, when I was looking
I
through
ruined your
this,
story.
as you usually do, uh,
I enjoy it.
yeah. So with this, yeah, I started looking around, and then it caught my eye, the
Hmm.
Japanese version. And yes, Japanese version game, 35, $25, and they are in way better condition than that other one ever will. The Mega Man, and it's funny, you can buy all 5 Japanese Rockman Game Boy games
Hmm.
for less than a copy of the North American loose Mega Man
Yes.
5 game. So,
You can get an unbroken one for 250.
no, I know that's the thing. The
Yeah.
250 unbroken versus 250 all smashed up. Like, come on,
Actually,
pal. You gotta
actually,
read your room.
correction. I found an unbroken one for 225, the same price that guy's selling it
Oh, maybe
for.
that's the one I was thinking of. That's the one I
Yeah.
saw. Yeah, it was the exact same price. I almost thought it was the same guy, but it's a
Yeah.
different guy.
Well, it's a lot
Um,
better than the graded $7,500 one I just saw.
I mean, I'm not a
Buy the game and
comics.
never play it.
Yeah, I'm a comics guy. I don't get the grading thing. I mean, I get it. Let me rephrase that. I understand it,
Hmm.
but for gaming, yeah, you like, you want to, and there's other, you know what? Maybe it makes sense because there's other ways to play the game without breaking into it. So,
True.
yeah, those two old guys a few months ago we talked about who bought two of every game.
Yeah.
So I guess it's
True.
out there.
Oh, actually, I found a lot for Mega Man 1 through 5, and then Extreme and Extreme 2, whatever those are. I've never heard of
Those are
them.
Game Boy Color games. Those games are
Yep.
phenomenal.
All right, so you can get 7. You can get 7 Game Boy Mega Man games for 500, which is a much better
North
deal.
American?
North American. Buy it
Really?
now. Buy it
Interesting.
now.
Something wrong with them.
And they're all in box. Oh no,
All
wait,
right,
I'm
there's
sorry. I'm sorry. They're not. They're
okay.
custom game cases.
Oh, okay.
They're in
I was
custom
gonna
game
say
cases. Sorry,
there is
sorry.
something definitely wrong then with those.
No, 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 no. Custom game cases, but they're all in great condition.
Well, I
And this
have
guy's showing them off on the analog pocket too.
yeah, I don't know. It's the only way to do it.
Oh, that analog pocket.
Mega Man Extreme and Extreme 2. Yeah, they were like the Game Boy versions of Mega Man X.
Mm.
Hence Extreme.
Yeah.
And they were Game Boy Color games. So those look beautiful.
Well, there you go, Larry. You can take care of the entire collection in one shot.
I do. Well, luckily I already do have them on the 3DS.
Very
But
nice.
yeah, so anyway, so I was, looking around. I might pull the trigger on Rockman. It's called Rockman World. That's actually the Game Boy
Mhm.
series called Rockman World. Forget because there's a couple being sold here in the US, and I'm only saying that because of speed of shipment.
Mhm.
I think there was one in Maine I saw and one in Idaho I
Okay.
saw to get it enough where there's a slight chance, telling you now, the Game of the Week premiere might premiere on Friday.
Uh-oh.
It might not. I mean, only if I do pull the trigger and it looks like I'm going to get this game like on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Okay.
But I'll make that decision a little bit later on today. And worst case scenario, I'll just record it from the Switch.
All
So,
right.
but nevertheless, that was checking it out, and it's not the first time I've seen North American games that are ridiculously priced,
Hmm.
be dirt cheap for the Japanese counterparts. And something we might talk about down the road because there's definitely, I think there was another one I experienced for the PC Engine. Where the North American game, I forgot which one it was, I gotta look it up, it was going for like 200 something dollars, and I picked up the Japanese version for like $20.
Nice.
And I don't know what they're saying. Actually, it's kind of like your the fireman.
Yeah.
You have your Super Famicom version,
Yes.
very cheap. I'm sure the PAL version in English, wicked,
Would be nice.
maybe. So we'll see. But now getting to Rockman, getting to Mega Man 5. And did you get a chance to play Mega Man 5?
I did play Mega Man 5
Awesome.
actually.
What'd you think?
I played
A
it over
Game Boy,
the
not for the NES.
Oh. No. Yeah, I played the Game Boy version.
Good.
I played it on the Switch.
Excellent.
And I played it over the last couple of days. One thing I learned about Mega Man games a long time ago is that I need to be in the right frame of mind to play them.
Agreed.
Uh, the short version meaning if I'm unhappy or mad at something, I can't play Mega Man games
So what?
because
When do you ever play?
on rare occasions. So the first time I picked it up, I played it for about 10 minutes and I said, I can't play it right now. I'm not in the right frame.
I'm not Zen. I have to
No, I
wait.
need to be Zen because like there's so much like for me when I play Mega Man, when I first pick it up, I die so much.
Oh yeah, agreed. Yep.
So until I get like the rhythm down. So that's why it's like I know I need to have patience when I sit down to play these games. Um,
No, yeah, it's not a game you can just blow through.
no, not a game you can blow through. And you know, again, incredibly grateful for the Switch save system online
Yes.
because like I would get through a screen and then just save every time. Yep. I was like, I got through a screen and I have enough energy. Save, move on. All right, here we go. I did that a lot. But I got through a good chunk of the game. I don't know how many robots there are. Like there are four when you start. I don't know if it's just four.
Yeah, the NES started doing that as well. Instead of being able to select all eight at once, like they gave you the
Yeah, you
first
start with
half
four.
and then they gave you the second half. So there's always going to be eight.
Yeah.
But you're right, you got the four and four, and then there's one in the middle.
Yeah. So I got through three of the first four.
Okay.
So I played a decent amount, which is good. And of course, the challenge with Mega Man to me is always like, you know, which one do you play first? And then
The
obviously,
order.
which one do you play second where you can use the first person's weapon? I had no
Right.
idea. I didn't look it up online.
You know what? It's funny you say that because the NES games and the Game Boy games, because remember the first four games are just like two of the NES games mixed.
Hmm.
It's always been, and Nintendo, Capcom said it. It's rock paper scissors. So
Hmm.
you can basically you can kind of figure out the order on to do that. But in this game, it's a little different because the robots are actually named after the planets.
Hmm.
That includes Pluto, because kids at one point Pluto was a planet,
That is correct.
shockingly. So yeah, there's no way to tell what order to go in because
Yeah.
their names don't really mean anything.
Yeah, exactly. So I started with Mercury. I was like,
Okay.
all right, first planet, Mercury. Makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
that's kind of the order I started in. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I went that route and it took me a while and I got through it, which is great. And then I went Mercury, then I jumped to Mars, I
Hmm.
think. I went from
Hmm.
Mercury to Mars and then back to Venus. And I did not get through Neptune.
Neptune. Yeah,
Yeah,
Neptune's
Neptune's the
actually.
last one. But I was very proud of myself because I learned quickly that you can beat Venus with Mars's weapon very easily.
Okay, there you go.
I was like, hey, I figured one out. Again, it's like a typical Mega Man game. Very, very challenging levels. The robots to me are always original.
Hmm.
Like I like them. They're always different. There's always a pattern and obviously the special weapon that you get from them. But might I say, the one big upgrade in this game that I found that I absolutely loved, and I don't know if this character exists in any other Mega Man game because I've never come across it. My Mega Man experience ended with the NES ones.
Yeah, you never played the Super NES ones?
No.
Really? Okay.
No, I tried Mega Man X at one point, I think because I downloaded the Legacy collection,
Okay. Yes. Yes.
but I never really got into it. Got into it.
Gotcha.
So actually Mega Man 5 was where I stopped on the NES. Like I didn't finish 5. I finished the
Okay.
first 4 and then stopped at 5.
Where did I leave off? I got to look that up.
Yeah, so and I know there were 6, right? There was
Yeah,
6
sure.
on?
Well, there was 6 on the NES,
Yep.
7 was on Super Nintendo, 8
Right.
was on CD-based systems.
Right. And then 9 and 10 came out
9
on
and 10 were then
virtual
digital, and then 11 we had on the new consoles.
digital. Yeah, so what was oh, the character that I was talking
Yeah.
about. Okay. So obviously Rush is always the known robot,
Love Rush.
yeah, robot friend. But in
Yeah.
this game you got a cat.
You did.
And I was so excited when the cat showed up. I'm like, oh, what do you do? I was like, this is cool. I was like, and it's a cat. So I just figured the cat would just like lick itself and walk away and be like, whatever, I don't want to do anything. Because you know what? In real life, that's what cats do. So I was pleasantly surprised to find that like the cat was like a buzzsaw or some
Yep.
kind of thing. Like I didn't know exactly what it was. But basically, while you're fighting the bosses, the cat is just like friggin' running, like running back and forth like a buzzsaw, just hitting
Yep.
it. And I'm like, oh, I go, this makes everything a lot easier. So yeah, so as I was trying to figure out the pattern for the bosses, my cat was just going to town. And I'm like, okay. I was like, this is the best companion ever. I was
Yes.
like, I don't even need anything else.
Cat's name Tango.
Tango.
Live,
Tango
huh?
was the best, and I want to know what other games Tango shows up in because now I want to play those Mega Man games.
Not many. He was only in one other game, Rockman and Forte, Murari Kara no Chosansha.
Okay.
Yep. And
Never
he had a
looked at
cameo
that.
in yeah, right. My head exploded when I was saying that. And then he had a cameo in Mega Man 10 in the item shop
Okay.
when you're playing as Proto Man. So, and Tango goes with, because for a while, well, not just for a while, since the beginning, that whole music genre,
Mhm.
rock, roll, Mega Man and bass,
Bass.
Tango. Yep, there's
Yeah.
another character in other games called reggae, so and treble.
Nice.
So yeah, so about a lot of musical stuff to
Okay.
it. But I'm glad you would.
Was Rush named after the band?
I would not be shocked if he wasn't. I'm sure he was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Interesting.
So yeah, so anyway, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. But again, it's your typical Mega Man game. So for as much as I enjoyed it, I guess one of the things is, I get it. If it isn't broken, don't fix it
Hmm.
type of thing. But I kind of wanted, and I guess with Mega Man, I know what I'm getting when I play them. I kind of wanted something a little bit different, and I don't know what, but I don't know what that different would be. Like to me, Tango was kind of that different piece, but it's like if you've played one Mega Man game, you've played them all except Mega Man
Eh,
Soccer.
not really, because the level designs are different. The
No,
characters
that part.
are
No,
different.
yeah, yeah, I get all of that, but I think like once you get to a certain number, um, I guess I'm looking for something that was like, oh, like this stands out to me as being different enough that it feels like there was a healthy change to the game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I
Okay.
enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. But I guess I was looking for what was the little bit extra that they may have tried to put in this game. It could have been the shop with Dr. Light, which by the way, and that was probably my one complaint about the game. That's my real complaint about the game, is after beating 3 bosses, I still didn't have
Yeah.
enough P chips,
Yep.
PC chips, P chips,
P
whatever it
chips.
was,
P chips.
P
Yeah.
chips to buy anything in the store. And I'm
You're
like,
right.
well, yeah, it defeats the purpose that I'm almost halfway through the game and I can't buy anything.
I mean, you're right. That part is annoying. There is farming basically in the game,
Yeah.
because a lot of like some of the characters who shoot projectile weapons, if you just shoot the weapon,
Yeah.
sometimes it'll drop stuff. And
Oh,
plus,
okay.
if you back up a little bit and move forward, the respawning is
Here's
wicked
my
in this game.
tango.
There you go.
Tango.
Again on the show. Look at him.
My tango.
He's gonna look for a reprieve at some point.
Yeah, I know.
So and I'm not gonna do that when we do the premiere. I'm not gonna farm. But
Mhm.
you're right. When you're going through it, yeah, getting those P chips is tough, but there are ways around it. There are definitely ways
Okay.
around it. Um, Again, putting yourself or putting myself back in those shoes back when the game dropped. And again, clearly I did not own this originally,
Yep.
but when I saw the game came out, especially after four Mega Man games on Game Boy, which reused bosses from the NES games.
Right.
But this was the first time for the Game Boy, and already that at this point would have been like five. They almost came out once a year almost. So like five
Okay.
years into the these games coming out. Now we got like an original Mega Man Game Boy story
Mm,
with these new and it's got to be probably yeah the first time you had Mega Man bosses that don't end in man. You know what I mean? You know,
right.
like Fireman, Iceman, Crushman. They're just the planets. And even back then, I thought, all right, that's kind of a cool idea, you know, to do the planets. So again, putting myself back then when I first read about this, like in Nintendo
Hmm.
Power,
Yeah.
I thought this game was amazing.
Okay.
Again, later on when I first started playing and to your point, Ant, the reason that uh, rinse, repeat, copy and
Hmm.
paste. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's in my opinion, always has worked for Mega Man, and I
Okay.
think that's why we got 11 main games out of it, and then seven, no, eight X games out of it. I think, because to me, every time they do try and spin off to do something like the EXE games that were on the Game Boy Advance,
Yeah.
I would again that's not my forte,
Or
but
Mega Man 64.
ooh, Mega Man Legends should not be anybody's forte. But
Was it Legends?
well,
I
Mega
thought-
Man 64 was Mega Man Legends. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Same thing, same game. And was it The Misadventures of Tron Bon? Was the sequel.
Yep.
You know, yeah, and I know there is love out there for Mega Man Soccer, so I won't knock Mega Man
Hmm.
Soccer. But to me, when they did try and trail off and do other things, or try like on the PS2, Mega Man X, it was either X7 or the other one. They tried to do kind of like a 3D type thing to
Yeah.
it. To me, those didn't work. It's the
Okay.
tried and true, left to right, fire, use weapons. You know what I mean? So that's why I fell in love with this game, and also the fact that it is so expensive, which is fine. Look, you know, was it supply and demand or resale and demand? Now is an opportunity for everyone who has Nintendo Switch Online to be able to play this game that is out of reach for a lot of people, economically speaking.
Yeah.
And this is why I love seeing these games drop on the Nintendo Switch, because even for the expansion pack, all right, you pay an extra whatever, 20, $30 a year to get the N64, the Game Boy Advance, and the Genesis collections. That's still cheaper than a quarter of these games that they're letting you play for this additional amount.
Yeah.
So kudos to Nintendo, kudos to Capcom. And I'm glad you were able to experience it. I hope you go back and play the first four Game Boy Mega Man games as well, because like I said,
Hmm.
they're not just taking the boards from the NES and
Yeah.
throwing them in there. You know, there is some differences and everything. And hopefully you'll get a kick out of those. And yeah, I'm very happy they did it. I'm happy I picked it. Hopefully I can get a Super Game Boy for you guys. It might be
Yeah.
Rockman World, but or
And
Beakman's World if I can find it.
yeah, and speaking of the Super Game Boy, it's in my retro news, but I'll bring it up now since you've been
Okay.
talking about Super Game
Yeah.
Boy.
I
But
love the Super Game Boy. Oh my
Yeah, the
God.
Super Game Boy last week turned 30.
It did over in Japan, I believe.
Yeah, it was released in Japan June 14th, 1994. So it is officially 30 years old.
Over there. Yeah.
It came out in the US in June as well. I just don't know exactly what date. It came out a little
Okay.
bit later, but still, like this month is the 30th anniversary,
Yeah.
or 30th retro birthday of the Super Game Boy.
Super Game Boy, in my opinion, the best peripheral to
Peripheral.
come out on the Super Nintendo. Maybe one of the
Yes.
best ones, period, I might dare
Yes.
say.
I'll agree with you on that. I mean, I never had a Super Game Boy. I probably should have because it would have opened up a whole world of Game Boy games to me.
It sure would have.
Since
Yeah.
I didn't play on that tiny screen.
Oh, so dumb.
So
No, but the Super Game Boy did. No, you're right. It did. Even for me, who's been playing these Game Boy games,
mhm,
to see them, you know, in some sort of four color palette.
mhm.
Not counting the Super Game Boy games. For Space Invaders for Game Boy was basically two games in one, because when you put Space Invaders into the Super Game Boy, it was the Super NES version of
Right.
Space Invaders, which to this day still kind of boggles my mind how they fit all that into that Game Boy cart back then,
Hmm.
which is wild to see. And then, of course, the Super Game Boy compatible games that had their own, like I said, borders, their own much larger color palettes. Um, Something I didn't know till a few years ago. And if I knew it back then, maybe I would have picked the game up. So before there were like heavily like some games I think kind of came out again for Super Game Boy. They might have like jazzed them up a little bit.
Hmm.
But a game like Metroid 2, which was originally on Game Boy, way before the Super Game Boy came out.
Yep.
Even playing it on the Game Boy, it's tough to see. There's a lot going on the screen, and having those limited colors kind of makes it tough to see Samus and run through the game. What I never knew till recently was even though it's not a Super Game Boy game and it doesn't take advantage of Super Game Boy colors, Metroid on Game Boy does have its own special color palette for the Super
Mm.
Game Boy. So it's still the four colors. But when you put it in the Super Game Boy, Samus stands out. She's more orange than the rest of the game. And
Okay.
some other stuff stands out more. And that, if I knew that, I probably would have bought the game back then just to see it like that on the TV.
Right. Of course.
So I always thought that was pretty cool.
Very cool.
It's as far as I know, that's the only game that wasn't, again, Super Game Boy compatible that did that. There might have been others, but nevertheless, happy birthday to the Super Game Boy. There was the Super Game Boy 2 that came out later on, which, kind of did some more stuff to it, upgraded some stuff, put
Hmm.
a link cable into it,
Nice.
so you can actually play multiplayer games. Um, and every now and again, I'm on eBay eyeing that Super Game Boy 2. Maybe one day. It's not expensive. It's
Uh,
like $50. Just haven't done it yet.
oh, I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, just pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's just more convenience.
Yeah.
And then we got the Game Boy Player for the GameCube. That was
Yes.
very cool. And then that was pretty much about it. Moving on, but nevertheless, happy birthday to the Super Game Boy. And if you can, well, I know you got the Retro Freak, but there's still something about playing on the Super Game Boy on a Super Nintendo, or even
Right.
just to have in your collection is very cool to do.
Yeah.
But otherwise, hopefully everyone else enjoyed Mega Man 5. And at this point, Ant, what do you have for us to play this week?
Oh, I had to give it a lot of thought. And when I say a lot of thought, I mean none. But no, I was trying to figure out a game in my collection that would be something fun.
Okay.
Summer is upon us.
Well, oh no.
And what do you mean, oh no?
A couple games came into my mind.
Oh no, no, I'm not going to subject you to like a summer games.
Okay, okay.
I know how much you hate them. Although I would love to see us do like a premiere of World Class Track Meet with the Power Pad.
Oh my gosh.
Can you
And a
imagine?
camera on us.
And a camera on us showing how quickly we pass out.
Well, it would have to be live so someone can call 911.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be great. It would be a great side by side. But no, no. So I was thinking something a little more fun, a little more musical, maybe.
Okay.
So this week's game of the week is going to be on the Sony PlayStation, and I am talking about a game that I used to annoy everybody with all the time, and we are going to play Bust a Groove for
Bust a
PlayStation
groove.
1.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah, just thought it would be something
Oh,
fun.
absolutely. No,
Yeah, just something
absolutely.
fun. Something
Absolutely.
fun. I love that game.
You did love that game. Did you have the pads for it?
No, I did not have the
Oh,
pad.
okay.
I don't think it had a pad.
Mm,
I think Dance Dance Revolution had the pad.
I thought Buster Groove had a pad. Maybe I'm thinking Dance
No,
Dance. You had
no.
an imported Dance Dance, didn't you?
For Dreamcast, it was Dance Dance Revolution, and
That's what I'm
I had
thinking.
the hard
Yes.
plastic
Yes, now I
pads,
remember.
which still
Yep.
were easily broken. Um,
Especially with us
so
bouncing on it.
yeah, those were definitely a fail. So, but yeah, Buster Groove for PlayStation 1
All
will be
right.
our game of the week.
Definitely sounds good. All right. With that, let's start wrapping things up with news.
All right, we got some news. Let's see. I'm gonna start with recently. We just
Okay.
had an event just happened last week, and I'm only bringing it up. I know it's about current games and stuff, and we did not go over it.
Hmm.
We didn't go over the releases on the show, but Summer Game Fest happened
I saw that.
last week,
It did.
and why you sound disappointed?
Eh, it Xbox had a much better review.
They did, but what I'm reading online about Summer Game Fest
Hmm.
is that they're basically calling this the new E3. Like this is the
Oh
E3
yeah,
replacement.
yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool,
Hmm.
even though obviously Nintendo's doing their Nintendo Directs and then Sony's got their State of Play and Xbox did their reveal.
Hmm.
Summer Game Fest to me, it's just nice to see that there's still an event going on where people can go get news
Totally.
about the games and just have announcements and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun to see that. And I'm gonna look into Summer Game Fest a little bit more because this was yeah, I just thought it was a cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, I watch it. Oh, Jeff Keighley, I think, is the one who runs it and found it. And yeah,
That
Jeff
does
Keighley,
sound
yeah.
familiar. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And the video game awards at the end of the year.
Yep.
Um, but and I know he caught some flack for last year's game awards, where like there was really no awards and it was just all presentations, like all world
Yeah.
premieres. But again, and this is more on my end, we mentioned it before, short of like the new Power Rangers game that's coming out.
Hmm.
Um, again, I probably just aged myself out of some of these games.
No, and that's fair. What about Shadow X, Sonic X Shadow Generations?
Some, that's why I said some. That one I'm looking for,
Mhm.
but that's also like a remaster if you kind of want to look at it, kind of
True.
sort of, because
Yeah.
Sonic Generations is awesome. I got that, I think on both PS3 and Xbox 360.
Hmm.
Um, but but it was funny because I'm looking at a lot of these games, I'm like, all right, it's not for me, not for me, whatever. But then again, when I watch the Xbox showcase, which some of the games are the same type of gameplay, but I don't know
Hmm.
why. Like Doom, the new Doom coming out, Dark Ages,
Yeah.
holy Hannah, looks
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just Jeff Keighley. Maybe I'm just not crazy about him.
And it could be
And he
that.
hasn't done anything, so I don't know.
Yeah, but they did debut stuff like or not debut, but they did show like trailers for the Power Rangers games, Civilization 7, a bunch of other games. So just interesting. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. This was only the fourth year Summer Game Fest has been
Oh yeah, yeah.
around,
Mm-hmm.
but now that, like I said, there's a void with E3. So I think
100%.
Summer Game Fest is making their attempt to
All right,
fill
cool.
that. So
Cool.
interesting. Nintendo announced the Nintendo World Championship cartridge for the Switch, or the game for the
Yes.
Switch, right? That's coming out. Interesting,
Yes, it
right?
is. Let me
But
get a little over that window.
I
Okay.
will say I was slightly disappointed when I found out that it wasn't the exact Nintendo World Championship. Like we're
You
not
did
getting the
think it was
exact.
at first,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did it first, and I thought, oh, we're gonna get that one, but it's more like NES Remix for Wii U, right?
It tweaks when
Ish,
people say it because yeah,
ish.
because it's not like a mixture of stuff like Remix
Mhm.
was. It is like
Yeah,
just like speed runs and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yep. Well, lo and behold, I'm not the only person who probably misread that or expected something different, but somebody decided to do something about it because on Kickstarter,
Oh, I saw
somebody
this.
started and they are selling the unofficial Nintendo World Championship
Very unofficial.
on Kickstarter, which includes the original challenge that you played at the Nintendo
Hmm.
World Championship in 1990, which I played and you were afraid to.
I did, yeah, I
So
panicked. Yep.
I know you panicked. I played twice.
Yep.
So the Kickstarter is already double its goal, so it's definitely happening. And for those of you who don't know what happened, the original cartridge, what you did was you started in World 1-1 for Super Mario Brothers,
Hmm.
and you had to collect, I think, 50 coins.
I
And
want to say
after
100 actually, but
it
I
was,
could be wrong on that.
I think it was 50.
Okay.
And then after that, you played the first level of Rad Racer.
Yes.
And then after Rad Racer, you went to Tetris. And then you just played Tetris for the rest of the time. I think it was a 15-minute time limit.
Maybe. I don't remember the
Yeah.
full stats.
Yeah, I think the full thing is you played for 15 minutes and whoever had the highest score moved on to the next round. Like that's what
Hmm.
it was. So this person on Kickstarter is releasing Nintendo World Championship NES edition. It's going to be a Switch. It's called a Pro version. So the difference is for Super Mario Brothers, you start on World 8-1.
I have an update. I just,
Did it get shut down? Did it get shut
baby,
down?
it sure did.
Oh, that was fast.
And I'm while you're talking, I'm sorry, but while you're I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Actually,
no,
I
that's
did,
fine.
but while you're talking, I'm trying to search Kickstarter because I saw
Yeah.
it. I'm like, where is it? So
It's
then
been
I
shut
went
down.
back. I go, NWC 35th edition, a new developed pro version for the NES, is the subject of an intellectual property dispute and is currently unavailable.
All right. Well,
Oofa.
that ends that news.
If you are a backer of this project, you can always log in to manage your pledge.
Nice.
In other words, give me my money back. All right. So now we, when did the article that you're reading it, where is it from? Is it from
The article I'm
Nintendo
reading
Life?
came from Nintendo Life, and it was posted on Thursday,
So Thursday was, what date was that?
2 days ago.
Right. So what's today? Today's the 15th. So the 13th.
Yeah.
So that posted on the 13th. Today's the 15th when we're recording.
Yep.
When I first read this, and I think they were only a few days into the campaign, I think, when
It
I
was,
saw it.
yeah, it was quick.
Yeah. So I'm like, I wonder how long till Nintendo, because they did not hide anything.
No.
What they were doing was they had the original series on there, but then
Yep.
they also made their own
Correct.
like collection. I don't know, and is that in the story? Is what the new collection was going to be?
Well, that was the pro version I was talking about when you interrupted me.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
so go ahead with the pro version.
The pro version would have been Super Mario Brothers. You start at World 8-1.
Mhm.
Rad Racer starts at level 3, and Tetris starts at level 8.
Oofa.
Yeah.
So yeah, so and also now it doesn't, oh, it does say here. Yeah, these cartridges were expensive, not for
Yeah,
nothing.
it was 140 euro for a purple cartridge.
Yeah.
And then the limited edition gold cartridge signed by
A couple of competitive
yeah,
gamers.
two
Yeah.
competitive gamers was going to go for 350 euro,
Yeah, so
which is
very
crazy.
funny that they pulled. I wasn't, obviously we knew that was going to happen. So
Yeah.
we'll keep a little eye on this to
Yeah,
see what
because
happens with it.
I was going to end my discussion on the or my
Okay.
reporting on this to how long before it gets pulled from Kickstarter. And apparently they beat me to it. As I was reading this article, yeah, I should have known this article is 2 days old.
Oh man,
Nintendo always quick on the draw.
they sure are. They waste no time.
All right, moving on. All right, PlayStation 4 and 5. The Sony subscriptions are getting some new games.
Oh, okay.
And two of those games are PSP games.
Ooh,
One of them is arguably considered one of the best PSP games of
okay.
all time. So the two PSP games that are be coming to the
PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus, that's what I was trying to think of. I couldn't think of it for some reason. The extra and premium catalog, but it's the premium catalog. I think that I'm pointing out these games. One is Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy,
Oh wow.
and Daxter, which is considered one of the best
Oh,
PSP games of all time.
yes, that was a good game.
Yeah, there are a bunch of other games coming as well, like Monster Hunter's Rise, Far Cry 4, Lego Hobbit, Lego The Incredibles, Ghost Hunter.
Oh wow.
But yeah, Daxter is the standout because it's considered one of the best PSP games.
Yeah.
So if
PSP.
you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, particularly I think the premium, you'll be able to play that
Sounds
among
good.
a bunch of other games.
Oh yeah, a lot of games. Yep.
Yeah, they're definitely, they keep building that library there.
It's getting to be really, really good.
Yep.
So I was it was like 20% off the other day or something. I almost thought about it.
Yes. So Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, game came out in 2003.
Hmm.
They recently announced that there was going to be a remake of the game, and it kind of like went back and forth. It was like, oh yeah, we're going to remake it. It was quiet for a little while, but now they finally gave it a release year.
Oh.
And I thought it was kind of interesting because it's really far out. It's 2026
Oh wow.
for the remake, which
It's
means,
never gonna get here.
yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, they say 26, it's probably going to be 28. Just make a new Prince of Persia at that point. But Sands of Time, very well received Prince of Persia game. And if you want a remastered re-release version of it, you'll have to wait a couple of years, or just go back and play the original.
Was Sands of Time the one the movie was based on?
I think so.
I think so too. With Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah. So I believe that was the title of the.
It was. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There it is, right there. I gotta. Oh, I think I just bought that. I gotta watch that. On my
So
list.
yep. Speaking of watching things, since you just brought it up, now I'm going to jump over to a bit of news, which is
Hmm.
about watching things. Two bits of news about watching things. One is somebody has created a new 4-hour documentary that delves into the creation of the Sega Rally Championship game on the Sega Saturn.
Really?
Yeah. So it premiered on June 15th, which is the day we're actually recording. It's
Okay.
premiered on June 15th. It is a 4-hour look at the Sega Rally Championship for Sega Saturn. It's going to have translated Japanese TV clips, videos, magazine articles, some original interviews.
Okay.
It'll be available. Well, it was available on Patreon for early access, but June 15th it became available to everybody. So
Where?
that's a good question. Let us see. You can watch it. It does not say.
Okay.
Bad article. Bad article. So if I would just say look around for it.
Yeah, it's probably YouTube or something.
The company is the company that did it is called Pandemonium. And when it
Nice.
Panda, like the panda bear, Panda Monium.
Okay.
So you can go to their YouTube page. Oh, wow, that was loud. You can go to their YouTube page maybe to find out some information, or their Twitter, or X, as
X. That's
Larry
what
would
they say.
say.
Well, as the world would say.
Yeah, they did post it on Twitter. So if you're interested
Yeah.
in learning about the Sega Rally Championship game on Saturn, and that's not the only bit of like watching news.
Okay.
Apparently, this is really fun. So Chris Kohler over at the Video Game Foundation, I'm going to send you a link in your chat, Larry.
Okay.
They have uncovered what potentially was the very first Nintendo commercial planned for the United States.
What is this thumbnail?
Before, was it a thumbnail I sent you?
No, no, no. You
Or an
sent me
article?
the link, but the first picture that comes up.
Oh yeah. So this is apparently the first commercial Nintendo was going to release in the United States. It was for the Game and Watch game Ball. And
Okay.
at the time, because Nintendo did not have they didn't have a place in the US yet. They
Hmm.
didn't have a footprint in the market yet.
Hmm.
So it was actually going to be marketed as Mego.
Look at this
It was
thing.
called Mego was the company,
Yeah.
and the game was called Time Out.
Huh.
So it was Mego Time Out Toss Up Handheld. So Toss Up was the ball game.
Toss Up was the game. I think the game,
Yeah.
instead of calling it a Game and Watch, it was called Timeout.
Yes. So they called the Game and Watch Time Out. The name of the game was Toss Up. And Chris Kohler at the Video Game Foundation has actually preserved the footage of the original
Yeah, look at
commercial,
that.
the actual footage. So if you look at it, and I'm assuming you'll throw it in the
I'm
show,
going to do my best to do that. Yeah.
throw that in.
Timeout, toss up 30 revised, tick one.
Jogging gave you fallen arches? Take time out. Tennis gave you tennis elbow? Take time out, the new electronic sport. This timeout game's called Toss Up. It plays an easy game and a hard game. It records your highest score and even tells time. Plus, it's so slim you can play it anywhere. Basketball through your back out? Take time out. Toss Up, a timeout game from Mego.
That in the show. I just thought it was really cool because I watched it and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And again, this was in 1980, so it just reeks of 80s.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It
It's
looks like it was
amazing.
starting out like a porno, but after that, it
Yes.
opened up to be something better. And I hate to say it, I kind of like that tagline, a timeout game. Like instead of a Game and Watch,
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to take a timeout because those games were short.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they kept
Yeah,
it
that's really cool. And
timeout.
they show off how you can just like put it in your pocket the
Yeah.
way the way we do today with a cell phone. You'd walk around with
Honestly,
you walk around with your Game and Watch.
full circle.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right, moving on to other cool news. All right. So since we're talking about TV stuff, I'm going to talk about a radio show next,
Okay.
naturally. So I was a little too young for this, but in the mid 80s, between 1984 and 1986, there was a radio show called The Famous Computer Cafe.
Okay.
And they would talk about computers, computer games, stuff like that. But they had guests on it like Bill Gates, Gene Roddenberry,
Wow.
Douglas Adams, Ray Bradbury, Donny Osmond, Herbie Hancock. They had a whole list of stuff.
The only name I didn't recognize was Douglas Adams.
You don't know Douglas Adams?
No, wasn't he a president?
No, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, I
He
never
wrote
read
it.
that or watched it.
Oh my
That's a
gosh.
lie. The only scene I've seen in the movie is when they're building Earth or something.
Yes.
That was it.
So there is
Nerds.
now there is a GoFundMe page right now
Okay.
that is trying to digitize 54 of the episodes from
Oh.
the famous Computer Cafe.
I love these old radio shows and
Yes,
stuff like that.
he's already hit the goal, which is great.
Okay.
So the person who their name is Kay Savetz, Savetz. She paid $1,000 to get a hold of these reel-to-reels
Wow.
of the radio show, and now she's raising the money to so she can convert them to digital.
That's awesome.
She's already got the money. You can obviously continue to donate to the
GoFundMe, just keep going. Yeah.
to GoFundMe, which is great. This is definitely something that I'm going to pay attention to, if not donate to, because again, to your point, I love listening to these old radio shows, and to hear radio shows about computers in the 80s when I was too young to really pay attention to that.
Yeah, right.
Would be really cool. So
very cool.
Yeah. So something to pay attention to.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. Okay. Metal Gear Solid. For anybody who loves the Metal Gear Solid series, specifically the music, Laced Records recently announced that they are bringing out a new 6 LP collection featuring music from across the entire Metal Gear Solid series.
Okay.
It's called Metal Gear Solid, the Vinyl Collection. It's on Laced's website, Laced Records website. It's 110 euros, and it will contain 53 tracks starting starting from Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake for the MSX all the way to Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain.
Wild.
And all of the LPs, like the art looks really cool.
Oh no, it looks gorgeous. Yeah, and I like the colors, a lot nowadays. Everything, like, I don't think they put out normal vinyl black anymore. Everything's got like a special press to it, and that usually means that each one's gonna look different than the others. So but this is a wild lineup.
Yeah, all in all, really, really cool. So if you're a big Metal Gear Solid fan, or just Metal Gear altogether, this looks like a must own for you guys out there.
It looks like they're also putting out, if you don't want to get the whole 6 vinyl collection, is going to be a 2 LP collection for 36 euros. They'll have 18 tracks on plain black vinyl.
There you go.
So
these will ship October 2024. Next bit of news. There's a rival to the Mister coming out. Have you
Mrs.
Yes, Mrs. There's a rival to the Mister coming out, being created by Taki Udon, Udon.
Okay.
It's an FPGA clone, Mr. FPGA clone. And recently, Taki Udon announced that if you wanted to purchase this, it was going to be $99, so cheaper than the Mister.
Not bad at all.
Okay. He recently promoted on June 14th. He posted on Twitter that unfortunately he says, quote unquote, unfortunately, we have to change the prices on the $99 board and the $115 kit.
Oh dear.
These will both now be cheaper.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
In 2024? Okay.
Yeah. So, and his company is not only working on the Mr. Clone, they're also creating a rival for the Analog Pocket.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I just thought this was interesting news for anybody who's paying attention to this or is a fan of the Mister. So you're gonna get a version, like a Mister clone, for less than $99. Don't know exactly how much less, but it's gonna be less.
All right,
pretty good.
Very cool.
Yep. And one bit of news, I think I wanted to share this with you because it's I think it's a little more personal for you. Desert Strike, the Desert Strike game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Desert Strike game. I know. You love that game, and your dad loves that game, right?
My dad loved that game. Absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, A trailer dropped last week for
What?
a game called Cleared Hot, Cleared, Cleared
Mhm.
Hot, which is basically a spiritual successor to Desert Strike. It's one of those over the top
Look
helicopter
at
games.
this thing.
So I thought I wanted to bring this up because I thought this would be a game you would definitely buy because you're a
I
huge fan of Desert Strike and your dad too.
Oh my God, look at this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
top down helicopter shooter.
It looks just
Yep.
like it. I mean, obviously way better. Whoa. Some
Yep.
stealth bombers zipping by.
Yep.
Holy cow. Okay.
It's gonna be available on Steam.
Boo.
So you can play it on your Larry. All you need to do if you don't have one is just get a controller. A
I
USB
can play it,
controller. Okay.
but to be able to get it from my father is a whole different ballgame.
Well, he has a computer.
I love him, but all
Well,
right.
he can play it when he visits you. Or you know what? Perfect opportunity to buy him a Steam Deck.
This is true.
There you go.
Break it
yeah.
off my head.
Yeah, Cleared Hot. Coming soon or out? I think it's coming soon.
It is.
Yeah, you can wishlist it here.
Yeah, wishlist it. Yeah.
So it's not out yet, but there you go. And then the last bit of news to close off our retro news. This is just a really cool thing and something I want every other country in the world to pay attention to.
Are you listening?
Are you listening? Every country in the world. Switzerland just granted 2.8 million euros to preserve its video game history.
Really?
Yeah, the actual country is getting involved in preserving their video game history. These are games developed in Switzerland.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I don't remember them having a heavy thumbprint, on gaming society, but I guess so. Okay.
Yeah. So they have there's a company there called Confederatio Ludens.
Sure.
It's about 20 researchers from 4 different Swiss universities. And they've been tasked with documenting and studying domestic video game history funded by the Swiss National Science Foundation.
Wow.
So, and they have given them 3.1 million Swiss francs, which comes out to about 2.8 million euro.
Right.
So, yeah. So there you go. Just nice to see, a country trying to make an attempt to preserve their video game history, which is
right.
Cool.
Well, yeah. What else are they spending that money on? So,
Swiss cheese.
Yummy.
I don't know. And with that piece of news, that's it for retro.
All right. Excellent. Very good show. And with that, we'll start to wrap everything up. And where can they find us?
You guys can find us on Facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast, on Instagram @Retro Gamers Podcast, on Twitter
X
@Retro Gamers Pod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube and Spotify @Retro Gamers Podcast. And you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
Awesome. And with that, Ant, have a wonderful week.
You have a wonderful week as well.
And folks, we will catch you everywhere next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.